is way too much damage. Stop him with the block! He found charge.
And he found
wow.
Wow.
Oh,
He gets out!
Somewhere there's a covert muffin just applauding this scene.
Holy crap.
Oh man, this is gonna come down to execution in the final escape, isn't it?
Sure is.
Every scene
Our
does.
favorite phrase.
Hello and welcome to the Ori and the Blind Forest Definitive Edition 2021 tournament. Today's match featuring Tritonite and why so serious Ashling. You know how he got these scars? Too many water veins, stump locked in forlorn. It's gonna be a good one. My name is Shafe, joined by Zemsis on commentary. Sirius, before the match, obviously feeling a bit nervous heading into what can definitely be considered a heavyweight match, as you can see. Rank 1 versus rank 3. Does not recall having won a race against Trido. I believe he's wrong on that. I think he did take one race in the prelims. Has done his practice, will try and go as quickly as can. Doesn't feel as you can go out of the way for gambles too much. He's going to be checking some of the sort of like gray pickups, such as the Grotto mini boss, if he has, feels like he needs a skill advantage or something like that. But mostly he's just going to try and go fast, even if it requires taking some risks and being pretty aggressive. Zemsis, what did Tritonite have to say?
Yeah, hi Shave. Both of our runners actually gonna switch up their style a bit now that we are finally in the best of 3 stage, where you are able to take a few more risks, go more for average time than for lowest time. Here Tritonite is gonna go back to a bit more of his usual playstyle, the one you know if you've ever watched him stream or if you've seen him race before this tournament. Aggressive tree pushing, skipping a lot of the slower checks and just seeing how quick he can make that seed now that he has the option to get randoed once in this matchup.
Yeah, exactly that. A little bit more room for some of that risk, like you were alluding to, but it is a battle to get into the lower bracket quarterfinals. These are going to be best of threes the whole way through now for the end of it, and obviously these runners are going to be trying to fight for an opportunity to get their way back up into the upper bracket and face one of 4 possible opponents. Guard, Zemsis, Jamal, and Cleanfowl are the ones in the upper bracket that are competing. Here in the lower bracket, as of right now, we've got Sirius and Tritonite, obviously, and Dedu in Evo, who are going to be racing on a Wednesday, the first 2 matches in their series. That's going to be kicking off at 3 o'clock Eastern. And we'll be on the SpeedGaming network of channels. So here we go, underway in the best of 3 lower bracket match. Battling for the quarterfinal position. It is a keystone on the first start. We are playing standard variant here. No wall starve, grenade starve, bonus pickups, or any of that shenanigans. Just straight up competitive item pool. Obviously, this energy cell is not randomized, and they're going to be on their way towards Sign. Anything trolly or speedy that you're looking for here, Zem?
I am looking for a mixture of both, actually. I want to see the classic storm cancels left side teleporter. Left side teleporter, we already got some charge jump in there. And then once you have all these fast skills, we're putting that water rain all the way on Mapstone 9. So our runners actually get to use that for once. That's the kind of seed I'm looking here.
Yeah, that would be an absolute showcase for 2 of the top runners here in the tournament to be able to get the stomp cancels in the early going. The race room title, by the way, is a wonderful noob, and you are not going to be seeing noob gameplay from either of these runners. That is absolutely for sure. Trido with just a little bit of a lead here as they're heading towards the 3rd pickup available to them. I do expect to see a keystone here. Possible we're going to get a teleporter. Ooh, ability cell. All right, that only leaves 1 more pickup left in logic. Do expect both runners to check flippers, and if this isn't a keystone, but it is an out of logic keystone they get underwater, okay, never mind. I would have expected them to head to Glades anyway, but it is forced Glades progression. Fake flippers is a pretty decent amount of experience, 179. Indicative that we are probably not going to see clean water until at least the mid game here in this seed. Of course, depending on what sort of sequence breaks the runners decide to do. Experience collection here, of course, might be seeing Frankie walk from either one of these runners, as we alluded to off the top of the broadcast. looking to play aggressive. Wall jump is our first skill, surprise, surprise, and so we're probably just going to be cleaning out the wall jump loop here, and then heading into Blackroot Burrows.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Wonderful Noob actually just alluded to our no out of bounds gameplay that we're going to see here all the way through. Since
Hey.
this randomizer tournament is obviously not allowed to go do any out of bounds or teleport anywhere shenanigans, just as in the more run speedrun categories. But yeah, with the wall jump first, Trito is gonna be really annoyed. Yesterday's wall stiff seed for him had a wall jump first, and today's seed is not even wall stuffed, and well, it's more wall jump starts.
Oh, I like
Both of
this.
our
Baby
runners
Iceless for
going
both.
for this baby iceless and Sirius seeming actually a bit more practice on it. It takes the lead over try to just a few seconds of advantage here for Sirius as they are cleaning out the wall jump loop. A lot of keystones now, the potential to go either into Blackroot or into Spirit Caverns once they've reached the wall jump tree, and also the second energy cell coming into play. So from now on, XP setups are gonna be very, very relevant if any of our runners are going to want to sequence break into the right side of the map. Sirius doing his signature save anywhere at the wall jump tree will be doing some blind movement to collect the energy cell while the tree animation is still playing here, reloads the game, then will be able to move just before Tritonite. Of course, that costs an ability cell, and you need 2 in total in Blackroot to do both of the cutscene skips. And now there's the option, will our runners either head down into Blackroot, as Sirius is pretty much doing already, try to heading over to Spirit Cavern, so we're gonna have a bit of a divergence here.
Yeah, not too surprised taking a look at the keystone counts there in the top right of the screen. There's plenty of keystones for Trito, probably going to be able to make his way all the way through Spirit Caverns. So not terribly shocked to see this play here. Sirius playing, I would say, a little bit more safe, heading into Blackroot first, wants to clear this area out, which he can do with just wall jump, of course, minus dash plants, but he's got everything else available to him. Going to get some knowledge as well at the Indiana Jones in terms of XP values there to see where dash or charge jump might be hiding, that kind of thing. So I like the play from both runners. A little bit more aggressive tree pushing here from Trito in that he is probably going to be able to get to Sea Flame just a little bit faster than Sirius will get to dash. But so far here, just resources in Spirit Caverns. Another energy cell putting the runners up to 3 total available in addition to that 4th health does mean that we are probably going to end up seeing an in-logic Death Gauntlet, but just want to talk a little bit about the small bits of execution. You can see Sirius kind of struggling with that wall jump there. On the way to the wall jump tree itself was a little bit faster through the brambles, got that baby iceless as well, and those small little execution things are at this level of gameplay what are going to win and lose you races sometimes. In a randomizer environment, obviously, it's not like just as execution based as you would see in a base game category race, but still, it does make a difference, and it adds up over the course of a run.
Yes, indeed it does. And interesting player from Tritonite actually choosing to spend the 4 keystones, go directly into the charge flame area. If you find blue breakage and you just need to reach the tree, you can skip opening that 4 keystone doors and therefore gain a bit of a resource advantage later by just breaking that blue wall you've seen right there. But for now, that is not what Trito will be doing. Instead, wants to do his 3rd tree push very, very quickly. And as we know already, we have 3 energy. That's an easy access to right side, and it's going to be either another energy or a skill very soon here for either of our runners. It is the 4th energy for Tritonite, so he has the option to go into Grotto in logic, but probably, I would assume, does not want to. We'll open it right now. I'm not sure if he will go through or just use this so he can later come back here with actual energy for saving in Death Gauntlet. We will see in a moment. No, he's walking
going
into Grotto. So he's gonna put off the Blackroot area for a bit longer. Probably says, all right, my progression in this bubble, that was absolutely the 4 energy. Blackroot is probably not gonna have a lot of things. And instead we're gonna see some right side play here as Sirius is setting up for his cutscene stakes.
Yeah, or he's going to get a little bit of information based on what's behind this crusher here. At the very least, it's going to be resources. Yep, additional keystone. As Trito's going to continue his way into Grotto 54 experience there on the energy cell. Probably indicative that, yeah, that is indeed the intended progression for this seed. Don't see anything else. Small death from Trito. Placed his save right beforehand, being on 1 HP. Smart play. We call that a value save, absolutely. Down in Blackroot, however, it's dash on the main room ability cell. Sirius has the zooms, and if Triton Knight continues to put off Blackroot looking for progression here in Grotto, that could spell a massive advantage for Sirius, as he's going to be able to clear out the rest of Glades a lot faster than Triton Knight did, and also make his way into Grotto a lot quicker, having access in short order, depending on ability cell counts, to air dash for additional comfort of movement as well. Definitely going to put Sirius here in the driver's seat for the time being, as Trito's actually going to be making a long check here with just wall jump, dropping down into the water. 1 health, has to be mindful of the grotto walls, which are coated in molasses and will cause you to slip down. He's got 1 HP still, trying to climb up the wall. Has to be very careful to avoid getting hit by this slime. Does so. No health off of that drop though, so he's still on 1 HP. And does get sniped by the slime, and that costs him a whopping amount of time, and he's actually going to go for it again as well, continuing to give Sirius the dash advantage here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he thought of doing this play due to his XP setup, allowing him to get the timed level up of, but the grotto walls were slippery in just the right time for that. For that to not matter, the level up explosion being too low on the wall, not really taking care of the slimes, him falling back down, and then having to do this treacherous climb on 1 HP, that is not very nice. Meanwhile, Sirius has his dash, has done his entire Blackroot area, and can now catch up, will find his 2 energy in the areas in the left of Glades very soon here, and will be able to do these faster than Tritonite did. So unless, I would say if Trito is skipping left side Grotto, this is gonna cost him like a minute or two, but he really needs to get back into Blackroot as soon as possible here.
Yeah, he is at the very least, I imagine, going to be dropping down and doing some of the checks, like the 2 I-beam pickups. Maybe the underwater swim, the map stone that heads towards the Grotto mini boss. Not sure if he'll go directly to double jump. Still only has 1 keystone. Might not be able to, in fact, in the immediate. But does get another ability cell there. That is going to be good news for both of the runners, as air dash is going to be very accessible. But so far here, in large part, just experience for Trito and a couple ability cells. Nothing in the way of progression. Is going to continue towards the Crushers. It does note that he only has the 1 keystone. Is going to be dropping down to check this map stone, so hopefully he can at least finish the double jump tree. But with all these ability points, Sirius might actually be able to get charge dash by the time he's down here and do a couple extra checks that Trito's going to have to backtrack for. You can see him circling the keystone count there, top right of his screen, on the left side of your screen, and 40 experience. He's only got 1 more pickup left, and if it's not a keystone, he's going to be losing even more time. He lost at least a minute there in Glide Vault with the number of deaths that he took, and of course the slow climb with wall jump only. And it's not a keystone, it's just 55 experience, so Sirius here in a very good position.
Alright, so what I think happened there is if there was no progression in Blackroot, then it might have been super probable that that keystone would have been there just for all of the intricacies of keystone logic. So I'm circling the keystone and then circling specific pickups. That might have been a thing. Now that he can't reach the double jump tree all the time, there's just 1 really reasonable way left that is on the way to trees. So that means Trito will now be going into Blackroot, will do all of his stuff here, and will find dash soon. But we can already see Sirius is already in Grotto now in Death Gauntlet, as Trito is still on the way to his 3rd tree, since he wasn't able to get all the way to double jump tree. So Sirius definitely in the lead right now.
Yeah, he's trying to see if he can get like an additional health cell here or something. Oh, he's actually got a potentially save drop for this pickup. Nope, just 215 experience. Actually, yes, he does zombie out with that. I like that play from Sirius. Very heads up now. Knows that he wants that experience. Wants to go and push towards charge dash as soon as possible. Continues to skill into the blue tree on the way to that as well. So in short order here, he's going to have charge dashes, allowing him to break blue things. Try and say that 5 times quickly. And also rocket jump, which is going to give him a lot of vertical movement. You can see he has 2 ability points in pocket. He's going to level up charge dash now as he heads over to the water vein, and in a real good position here to get Grotto mostly full cleared. There's really only 1 pickup I can think of off the top of my head that would be difficult for him to get, and that's one of the experiences down in lower left Grotto. But other than that, he can pretty much clear everything here. and then decide where he wants to go. And I would be surprised if there's more progression here in Grotto, but it is entirely possible that something was placed here late for a backtrack. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Trido, in the meantime, left side of your screen, is going to be on his way to Dash Tree shortly, continuing through this auto-scroller section of Blackroot. And then once he does the cutscene stack and moves off to the left, he will also find his dash in the Black Orb main room, and we will have skill parity.
Yes, indeed. And I think Sirius just, closed his lever again, wanted to open that, then check the stuff, close it again, but instead, did close the lever, so that will not be united. There's Spirit Light efficiency here on in the left of Grotto. That will double all the experience that he is gonna get for the rest of the seed, and we are only 12 minutes in. All the big XP pickups are yet to come. Ultra Defense is very much on the menu for the seed, no matter how fast it will blow up with certain other skill combinations. Now that our runners are gonna get double XP, or at least Sirius is going to be, gets an energy from the plant. That is very nice. 5 energy now. That is 5 charge dashes, and charge dashes are fast. And Sirius is doing the thing again. Decides, hey, I might have 5 energy for that door, but you know what's faster than opening a door? Getting this within like 3 tries. So he is now setting up for the rock slide. Gets it. Very nice. Seems to forget that his charge dash breaks the ceiling in the grotto vault, so he will be pushing the block all the way through, but still, that will give him some in-logic checks that Trito didn't do, who just got his dash here.
Yeah, I definitely can't sympathize with Sirius as somebody who totally didn't forget they had Charge Jump in their last race coming up here. Does get Charge Flame, actually, and Logic Blue Break through this puzzle with the 4 energy that they have. So that is kind of just nice information for the runners to have. You're not probably going to see C-Flame a whole lot if they get stomped to be able to do stomp cancels, but still nice to have, getting that free energy blue breakage so that they don't have to expend their charge dashes on anything other than movement related things. No energy here for a save, so Sirius is kind of playing it just a little bit safe, probably hoping oh yeah, he's not going to be able to go up top for that. That's kind of unfortunate. There is one more plant that's up there. Hopefully that's nothing, because Sirius is going to have a bit of a backtrack ahead of him if he wants to go and check that plant. But in the meantime, will he do violence? Will he murder a mini-boss? The answer is, of course, yes. No charge dashes, unfortunately, but does have the C-Flame redirect to still make this a fairly quick check, as in the meantime, Trito's almost done with Blackroot, does get that 8 XP from behind Marvin, and decides to backload it. He's going to go for the Frankie Lure? No, he's just going to go straight back into Grotto and try and chase progression now.
Yes, indeed, and he really is probably
There was Trito's Keystone, by the way, behind the mini-boss.
Oh no, mini-boss skipping does strike again, but then again, who wants to do a mini-boss with only Spirit Flame and no Red Tree upgrades, right? So even with this, I think in the end, especially with the dash location, this Alt R might have saved him time over doing the mini-boss instead, because now he can do his Grotto revisit incredibly fast. For how much we talked about how this will be an advantage for Sirius, Sirius is still not a double jump tree, as Trito is revisiting Grotto right now. Now Trito will be doing some extra left side checks. All of these have become in logic just by the virtue of having air dash, which can cross that gap. At the top here was a half cell, so nothing too crazy. Far left Grotto will be skipped, so no extra information there for Trito. Now setting up the frog for his rocket jump up here, and Sirius on the right side is doing what he likes to do, setting up a blind movement for the double jump tree. Has 5 ability cells and the 6th one soon to come, and he actually goes for purple tree. I like that. Our runners do not have stomp or bash or anything that can refund the charge dash energy, so instead of that he will be using Ultra Magnet very soon, I presume, to set up for his energy and charge dashes.
Yeah, and with the 4 ability points that he has in pocket, the 5 energy, the 6 health, he's probably thinking he's okay on resources at this point, so wants to, at the very least, increase his ability cell count via that Ultra Magnet, so he at least has the option of deciding whether or not he wants to push Sense or the blue tree. does have a lot of progression all the way into the blue tree already, given that he has charge dash, but still, just kind of one of those nice sort of balance plays that Sirius is making. In the meantime, left side Trido is going to be doing this lower left grotto as well, does not have energy left to do the charge dash, so he actually does need to push this block to do that. You know, as much as we were talking, like you said, about Sirius having the lead, Trido actually coming down here to do the same checks that Sirius did does still kind of keep that advantage for Sirius having had that early dash. Trido still has to go all the way to the right side of Grotto for the double jump tree. Of course, we are playing on force trees. And as he does that, basically his only time save in terms of routing is going to be deciding to not do the Grotto mini-boss, which now with 3 keystones, he's definitely not going to be doing the mini-boss. If he does, I would be genuinely surprised. That is a pickup that Trido pretty much never goes for in his own play, and I think the only reason he was even going for it sometimes in the best of ones was precisely because they were best of ones. So he was just kind of, you know, he knew he could afford to play a bit more thorough, and yeah, you can see he's being aggressive here now, just going straight to the double jump tree.
Yes, indeed. Will get his 1 extra check at the energy cell, but otherwise just doing this straight up go to trees as usual. Even backloads this instead of backtracking. Very good. That will give him his energy back. And energy means speed when you have the charge dash and no enemies above you that will greedily eat your charge dashes. But yeah, with this, try to now also on his 4th tree here at the double jump tree. And now we are in a bit of a digging phase actually. Our runners don't have any easily accessible trees that also give a lot of checks on the way. Of course, there's always the possibility to do a quadruple C-Flame redirect into Storm, but never mind. Sirius just found Bash out of logic up there in the spider leg area. The density play is kinda paying off, and with that, we are getting closer and closer to a really, really scary skill set.
Yeah, and now they've got the energy refund with the charge dash and bash cancels. A little bit low on energy here. Not going to be able to open up progressive vault just yet. Is going to have to actually do some energy farming, but there are 4 crystals in total that he can collect in this area here. You see Trido actually kind of backtracking through the spider sack area as well. Perhaps curious as to whether or not he's missing progression. This is really good for him, as the runners are going to get a little bit of a high five. Do expect Trido to do that same rocket jump that we saw from Sirius, and my expectation here is that charge jump is somewhere in the near vicinity in order to be able to get that bash pickup, or, you know, quite possibly later on in logic. But I do like that Trido did go back to the C-Flame tree XP as well. Just kind of heads up, a little bit of knowledge play. Remembering what you have and haven't checked is one of the most difficult things to do in Randomizer, and remembering that he missed that, very nice by him. We're going to see Sirius now here go into Valley entry, luring this Frankie over to stomp the floor for him, and then bashing off the bird to go collect the plant. It's the Sunstone! Very nice, and that is an in-logic Sunstone, I believe. So, but Bash does not, Dash rather, does not put Horu in logic on its own, but Stomp, sure, helpful as well. They have Stomp cancels, they have Bash cancels. I would be very surprised if the runners did not consider this to be a skill go mode. Both of them know how to do the charge dash ramps in Ginzo. At this point, I think they would both just want to find the water vein, but Trido did not do Valley entry. Worth noting, he does not have the Sunstone.
Yes, but as we know, we already have a dungeon hint clue, and we do know the Sunstone is in Valley, and that will kind of require Trido to find that Storm. There's no way he's skipping that when Storm and Sunstone are right next to each other, and one of them is hard required to finish any seed on the disc flag set. But for now, Trido is still in a collection phase here, will be doing some more checks on the right side, might even go into Swamp Loop, and we know our good Storm is on the other way. Sirius now on the, actually with access to the left side of the map, both through here and to the top of Sorrow, since we have that teleporter, has a lot of easy solutions. Let's see if he will set up for Stompness. Yes, cannot make a safety save since he does not actually have any energy left, but he can set up for Stompness. Was not happy with his first shot, seems to be happy with the second shot. Will now race to unload the wall here as usual. The spider not cooperating, so sad sellers for him, but still, Kuro gets bonked, and there is his next tree.
Yeah, it'll be worth keeping that in mind when Trido goes to that area to see whether or not anything was on that pickup. Definitely available for Sirius to get, but very nice Stompless setup, second try. Not the easiest trick in the game. 96 experience and 33 experience there for Trido so far here in Outer Swamp. Checks that we have not seen occurring on both sides, but a little bit of a cutscene, however, for Sirius. Some distance from further pickups, so we'll keep eyes on the left for the time being. This ability cell and plant are in available for a Tritonite at the very least. Actually, no, he has stomped, so they're in logic as well. Didn't stop the floor, actually, because he doesn't have
Predator doesn't
stomp.
have
He needs
stomp,
to use
yeah.
dash, yeah. So he's going to be doing swamp entry here with Ringo. This was actually found in the randomizer and then adopted into various different speedrun categories. He's going to be taking this frog with him for a little bit of a journey, luring the shot to break the floor and then double bashing it to break the ceiling, except the frog is annoying. And his shot goes a little bit high. Second shot is good. That's double jump. Very nice for Trido and Sirius. Actually, taking the lower swamp entry is not going to find that unless he doubles back for the pickup. It is a very quick check to do from this side, but he's going to have to do a frog lure in order to break the ceiling, and that's what he's setting up for here. Eyes on the right side. This is very difficult for Sirius to pull off.
Yes, this is an incredibly difficult technique, and Sirius only learned about this very basically, I think it's a few days ago that Muffin was so friendly to teach all of us this all that thread that got basically forgotten through most of the community. But yeah, Sirius thinks this is a skill go mode, doesn't go back to double jump, at least not yet, and that will be quite an advantage for Trito if he goes and gets his stomp, because stomp cancels with double jump and stomp cancels without double jump are an incredible difference in speed-wise.
Yeah, being able to refund that energy off your charge dashes anywhere using the stomp cancels, which do require double jump and glide on a mapstone turn-in as well. That is going to absolutely be skill go mode for Tritonite. He is not going to be checking anything anymore other than stuff that is like directly in his path. Unfortunately for him, he did not go to Valley entry, so he does not have stomp. Has to do this Frankie lure. This is going to cost him a little bit of time compared to Sirius, roughly to the tune of a minute or so. As camera shenanigans are happening on Sirius' side, don't worry, that'll fix itself with a teleport. There you go. And Sirius is going to get his mapstone turn in here as well. Glide was mapstone 2, so they're both going to find it on the same map altar. As Trido, with plenty of health, doesn't have to worry about taking any damage, does successfully get the Frankie lured over and is on his way to grenade Sirius right on his tail. And at this point, I think we got to start talking about tree progression. Sirius has already gone to the left side, has 6 trees. This is going to be Trito's 6th right here. And so they're going to be getting their second clue. Sirius is going to be working the way towards the 3rd. 5 ability cells available for Sirius. Interesting to see where he puts the points. He is going towards Ultra Defense. But yeah, that double jump could make a pretty serious difference for, no pun intended on that one actually, for Tritonite, just because he's got a lot more comfort. Dorito Caves is going to be, well, easy for both of them. I guess they have glide, but just having that extra air stall, that sort of all skills muscle memory that will filter in with stomp cancels once he gets stomp at Valley entry, like he's in a really good position here. Very comfortable skill set for him.
Yes, indeed, and remember, Sirius has Stomp and the Sorrow Teleporter all the way from the start of the map, so his left side access now is incredibly fast with all of these skills. This Stomp plus Sorrow TP is giving us a time advantage on the scale that I wouldn't even be surprised if Trito would Alt-R if he should find his Stomp here. He has already gotten his Sunstorm, which might mean, yep, he is now deciding to skip pickup Stomp right there, and just the ordering of this Valley entry clear means Trito won't get Stomp, will need to get to Sorrow from the bottom. That's even more time loss for him. Now gets trolled by the Frankie, who decides to, the bash decides to drop just out of range on the frame he bashed, and well, away goes the bash. Sirius doing some double bashes around here because he doesn't have double jump and wants to conserve health. Trito on the other side doing double bashes to get the Frankie up here and open up Valley entry, and I think at this point for Trito we kinda need to think about where's that water wing going to be, how much is that going to matter in the end of this race?
Yeah, and how much not having double jump is going to matter for Sirius, and not having stomp is going to matter for Trito. Trito's going to have to do fast stompless here. I'm not worried about him being able to pull that off. Actually, no, he has the Sunstone. He can use Wilhelm if he wants. But Sirius, despite having that Sorrow Teleporter, you were talking about it being a speed advantage for him coming from the top side, having Stomp, but without having double jump, it took a couple attempts at a very difficult sequence of double bashes that actually cost him quite a bit of time. May have been, about equilibrious if he decided to go through the lower end just on the basis of how long that took. But Trido, I believe, did miss that stomp list. Did get the ability cell check, however, which Sirius did not, and it was just 148 XP, so that is good news for Sirius, not going to be missing out on a skill there. But very interesting skill disparity between that double jump and that stomp, and just a matter here now of getting that water vein location, which we are going to get on Sirius's side first, as he is into Misty, does have glide, so it's not going to be terribly difficult for him. Especially with these charge dash cancels off of certain enemies. It does want to set up this bird very specifically to be able to take that damageless, just kind of minding his energy. I like that awareness from Sirius. It's very easy to get into a position in a race where nerves just take over and you're not paying attention to your resource count, but he is aware that he is low on energy and he wants to get that crystal in place of safety safe. I really like that from Sirius. Is actually to try a very difficult, just wall jump only thing off of the brambles here. This is possible. Second try. Very nicely done. Gets a mega health for his efforts and decides to just save Scummit as Trido is performing Sorrow Dash, heading on his way to his charge jump tree.
Yeah, there's just non-stop action on both sides. Sirius is even skipping pickups at the entrance of Misty. I know this is the thing he likes to do, does not respect the Misty water vein on Clue 3 as much as some of the other runners will instead leave the entrance off, because that's a quick Alt-R check if you want to go that route or have to go that route. Try to now flying up into Dorito Caverns. This will be his second to last tree outside of the Ginso tree. Meanwhile, though, Sirius has reached this, and it is a Water Vein Blackroot. And with Water Vein Blackroot, now Grenade might come into play here.
Well, here's the thing, Zemsis, is that Sirius ended up finding the Forlorn Teleporter and some of the Outer Swamp checks that he was doing, and Trido didn't. And we do obviously know where the Gumon seal is based on the clue system. That was the second clue that the runners got, but there's not a whole lot of pickups left in Blackroot for the runners to be able to check logically. Dash Plant, of course, being one of them. That has never had anything on it in a tournament seed ever. And a couple checks in behind some lasers, so depending on how this is routed and whether or not it is a grenade-locked water vein, we could be in for an extremely fast finish, sub 35-ish, maybe, depending on where the water vein is, or we could be in for like a 50-55 minute seed just based on where a grenade might end up be hiding. As Trido is, yep, just kind of taking a little bit of a thinking break there, I think. On his way into Misty, that double jump is going to allow him to do this a fair bit faster, minus this check behind this log in the beginning. We know that it is an ability cell now, which Sirius did not check. Mega Energy on Dash Plant. Alright, Sirius scums that, taking a death to the Crushers, and now has 3 pickups that he can get. Has one behind a 2-frog door, and another one, that ability cell there, and 2 behind the lasers. Oh, did he not get the one here, the experience above the brambles? I don't think he did, so he's going to be doubling back for that. Fairly quick check with this Baneling rocket jump. And it's the water vein.
It's right there! Oh my god, Sirius is now on the home stretch, but there's one difficult trick. Well, the final escape isn't trivial, since we have no way of getting up of a lot of height at the start, but the way harder part is Ginso dash ramps. I think now that Sirius needs to worry about that he has the water and also takes a death, so he will need to recollect that water and giving Trido just a bit of time to catch up. We already know it is not grenade lock, so Fallen TP not gonna come into play here, but Sirius really needs to get up to the Ginso tree now, and yeah, I'm wondering how practiced he is on those dash ramps. They are not easy at all. Pretty finicky setups, especially if you haven't practiced them, because that if you have a setup, you can mostly get it within a few tries, I would say, but doing that improvised is quite a challenge.
Yeah, and we'll see whether or not he ends up digging for a little bit more skills, or whether he decides to go for it, completely burns his energy heading into the front of Ginso here. That is a bit of a sad time, not going to be able to do the cutscene skips or game storage here. And yeah, so we'll have to see whether or not Sirius decides to. He's obviously going to have to go for the energy refill here because he does need to use charge dash for the ramps. But double jump is going to be massive for Tritonite on that front. He's going to have absolutely no problems ascending Ginzo, and so this I think is the opportunity for Tritonite to catch up. Is going to that missed pickup that they both didn't check down at the grenade tree, get his water vein, and head on to Ginzo. And how long this takes Sirius to do the charge dash ramps is probably going to be the decider in this race. And if it's not, then it might end up coming down to our favorite phrase, execution in the final escape, again, depending on just how long that this takes. And Trido canceled that rocket jump just a little bit too early, is going to just jump off of these brambles instead. I don't mind that at all. It does have a mega energy, could have set up the rocket jump again. He is going to be going down first. Interesting. So actually, this is going to buy Sirius a little bit of time to get these charge dash ramps, and gets it. And gets the second one as well, landing on the platform and not getting knocked off by the Geber, but gets the
No! Oh my god, Ginzo, the charge dash ramps weren't the problem here. Gets them again, but falling off the platform afterwards, that will lose him a bit of time. But speaking of losing a bit of time, oh no, did try to forget he never checked that pickup?
He must have. He's going into Grotto. Oh no, Trido, no!
Oh, that will do it, unless Sirius incredibly messes up this final escape. That is basically the nail in the coffin here. If he does not remember, he hasn't checked one of the Blackroot pickups. It is so easy to forget that, because normally you always go get that right on the way. It is very quick to check, and most of the skillsets can get it and then can get over to the other side. But it wasn't meant today, and yeah, Trito is digging for things right now, which means he thinks that water vein is grenade locked, as Sirius is already basically done with his Ginzo tree. Ghost Door here will now get his bash tree, and with that it is up to go into Horu.
Yeah, this is at this point Sirius's race, which is an incredible performance by both runners, and like take nothing away from Trido here having he backloads.
Oh
Trido
god,
is
he
going to be going to he remembered. This is so good for him. It's probably a little bit too late, but he does get the water vein. He is going to be able to go to Ginzo. Is going to have a more easy time in that second room. But this is, I don't anticipate Sirius struggling with the skill set in the final escape with charge dash and bash and things to bash off of. Really just getting up to Curl's platform and is kind of the toughest thing. Really does take a death elemental though, as the lasers come in and burn Ori into a spirit leaf kebab, setting him back all the way to the stomp teleporter. And he's going to have to make his way back to Horror Fields now. Does actually slow down just a little bit to buy himself some more time to be able to get up that wall with wall jump only, and places a safety save as well. Okay, good. So he is through, going to be rocket jumping off of this Baneling and stair canceling his way to the front of Mount Horu. And the question remains on the right side of your screen, do we see door warp or do we see murder?
I would be super surprised if he doesn't go for the door warp at least 1 or 2 times here. That is basically Sirius is gonna be extremely nervous right now, since there's always the possibility of getting sniped. Misses the first door warp. As a reminder, 1 frame for a load dependent needs to enter the door on the first possible moment. Now places another save that will reset some shenanigans. No details, let's just say it helped him. He got through on the 3rd try, did the hardest part of this escape, which is actually getting up here without any verticality. Always pretty funny, but with this, Kuro is now gonna swoop down, and it is time for Sirius to show that he can take that game off of Tribe. So it is time for a final escape.
And he's got about a 3-minute, 15-second lead with which to make mistakes here. So does get that dash just onto the edge of the platform. Probably the hardest part once the escape actually starts, when you don't have verticality. But Does have the charge dash and bash cancels, stomps down the floor, sets up his position on the wall to charge dash away from it and break it at the same time in order to bait out that elemental shot to be able to bash off of it, landing on that platform to be able to get the dash over without having to worry about hopping over the fire, taking damage. Grabs Jeremy the fish, double bash up once and twice, down to 2 health, not a problem, unless he takes a hit from the fish, and he does not rocket jump, charge dash into the final cutscene trigger. And that is GG for Sirius, taking the 1-0 lead in the best of 3 against Tritonite.
Oh, that's gonna feel so good for Sirius. Yes, indeed, taking the lead. We won't be seeing the other 2 matches today, but they will happen definitely. And with this, Sirius has a bit of a cushion here, can afford to play a bit more even more risky in his next game if he wants to. We'll just need to hold right for about another minute here as we have some ending cutscenes. Trito obviously on his way to the final escape now as well, has done all his trees, but mostly getting that aggressive in this game really has cost them, with skipping both Stomp and Water Rain checks that would have only taken like a second or 2, and well, then the early game problem with the missing keystone, all that kind of stuff is cumulating here into the result we're seeing, I think.
Well, to be fair, both of the runners missed the Water Vein pickup, right? So that's kind of a wash. They both had to go back for it. Trito obviously having forgotten it and then having to go backload to go get it did cost him a little bit of time, but all things being equal, really, Sirius probably lost a little bit of time not having double jump, very specifically coming down out of Sorrow from the teleporter. Having to do that double bash chain took a number of deaths there. Trito missing Stomp, lost him a little bit in terms of Stomp cancels and that kind of thing, but very well routed from both of them, generally speaking. But yeah, that early game dig into Grotto from Tritonite, I think, kind of sort of set the tone for the seed. Sirius grabbed a lead off of that basis and never let go. So we'll give him a couple seconds to calm down, obviously, before we bring him in to have a little bit of a chat. 37:48, that is a very, very good time. Very fast pace, as Trito is going to be starting his final escape on the left side of your screen.
Yes, indeed, and off we go. Has a bit more air stunning. Quick death here at the start, but nothing too major. It's still the first room, now into the pillar room. This is not a problem, having basically most of the skills the game wants from you here. With triple jump and glide, you can just go straight through the elemental wall, take the shot up. Now we have ultra defense, we have 9 HP. This rim isn't a problem. Jeremy the fish kind of wants to take a visit to the land again. Let's see if we're getting some fire shenanigans. Nope! Trito also out without the problem. Gonna have a bit of holding right to do, but with this, Trito also finishes the seed. GG, Trito.
Yeah, absolutely well played from both runners. Trito does know that Sirius finished, by the way, in the race time room. Did give Sirius the GG. So he is aware that he has lost this one, but it is a best of 3, and Trito did play true to what he talked about off the top of the broadcast with some of that aggression, given that he does have a little bit of room, but now being on the bubble, things may indeed change when Game 2 happens between these runners, which is not scheduled just yet, by the way, on the basis kind of as this match was sort of thrown in based on the result from the other day's match where Triton had advanced to this round. And so they only wanted to schedule the one game. While they are holding right, however, do want to remind you, we do have more action coming up. We've got Evo versus Dedu, the other matchup in the lower bracket, as they are going to be battling for a quarterfinal position. That's happening Wednesday at 3 o'clock Eastern, and then they're going to be playing 2 of their games. And if they need a third, they will schedule it at some time for the following weekend. In the meantime, we have Sirius in the broadcast booth with us. GG, dude. That was a high pressure seed. You get the early dash, you get Stomp, you get Bash out of Logic, Sea Flame, Glide on Mapstone 2, the Sorrow Teleporter. Like, just kind of walk us through your thoughts and sort of when you decided, okay, this is enough for me to start being aggressive and hitting the go button.
the bash was probably a very huge factor. Also, thank you for the GGs. Yes, this was a very high pressure seed. Because between bash and dash, there's already not much you can't do. I did have Sea Flame to break the final escape walls. Honestly, my thinking wasn't too still, so it wasn't a clear-cut moment, but the bash was definitely the most clear moment at which I said, okay, that's a lot of skills. I can probably do things.
Yes, indeed, and you did do quite a bit more aggressive playing than we've seen you do in previous races. You did mention you wanted to do that, and that's exactly what we got. So I have a question about that lower swamp entry. How long has it been since you learned that strat, and how comfortable are you with it? Because you showed that off very well here.
It feels like 2 or 3 days ago that I learned it, which probably helps to have in recent memory, and I'm very comfortable with it because I practice it a lot.
Just getting word from Tritonite, he's not feeling terribly good about his performance, so he's not going to be hopping in with the interview today, and that is completely valid. Ori hug for Tritonite. Totally understandable. So Sirius, you were kind of walking in. I'm making a bit of an inference here based on your pre-game notes that you might not have been expecting to so much as take a game off of Trito, but you get the first one, which is very important because now you have him on the edge. This being a best of 3, you can kind of afford to make some mistakes in game 2. Is that gonna kind of have you relax a little bit, or are you gonna feel even more pressure to try and close out the seed?
I will play exactly the same as now. I don't think it means anything to be 1 match ahead. As long as the best of 3 isn't over, it isn't over yet. And of course, the most comfortable would be to just play really well again in the second match and get it done right away, if that's by any means possible.
Yeah, and this kind of style didn't work out very well. I have one more question for the latter half of the seed. When you saw that water rain and Blackroot, what were your thoughts and how quickly did you remember the stuff you left behind on the first pass? How scared were you of that grenade lock?
Well, I mean, it didn't seem like Grenade would be anywhere in the logical progression, because Charge Flame was the logical progression. So if it was grenade locked, I could have assumed that we both were in the same trouble. And I did find the Forlorn TP for the grenade hint, so I don't think that would have thrown me off too much. And yeah, luckily my brain was basically racing, so I also did quickly remember everything that was left behind, and it all turned out to work out.
It did. GG again on your performance today and taking that first victory, and good luck on the next one. In the meantime, as Shave has already mentioned, do come back for our next matches throughout the next week on Wednesday starting at 3 p.m. as well as on Saturday starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you can't wait for more speedrun action, there is a bunch of other stuff going on the various SpeedGaming channels right now. I want to say thank you to Apple Tree for doing the restream today, for Sunny and Skull on the track providing us with stats, as well, of course, to you, Chef, for commentating this with me. And I wish everyone here to have a wonderful rest of your day.